What's up, guys? Welcome to your Bitcoin update, where we will be taking a look at the smaller time frames all the way up into the bigger macro. Definitely stick around for the whole video. We got a lot of things to look at. Don't forget, we also have a free Discord group. There's a link down below in the description. Check it out and let's get into it. All right, guys, as always, this is not financial advice, trading advice, nor is it investment advice. Disclaimer scrolling on the bottom, make sure you read it. And also, do not forget, we're doing a Ledger Nano S giveaway. We do that on Sunday. All you have to do to enter to win is subscribe to the channel, smash that thumbs up, and leave your comment down below. That will get you entered to win. All right, looking at the Fear and Greed Index, we have dropped 9 points since yesterday. We're at 86, still in the extreme greed zone. Taking a look at the Dow Jones, this still is the highest I see us going at about 30,700 to 30,800. I do expect a rejection if we get to this level. If we break through that, who knows? We'll take a look at that if it happens. But as you can see, lower highs on the RSI, higher highs on the price action. That is bearish divergence. And this is the dollar index that we've been watching. Last time we had a wedge like this, we see what happened. This is almost identical. The EMAs and everything are lining up the same. It is possible that we come all the way down to 90.157 before a bounce. And a bounce up out of this wedge, it will be really bullish. And we've talked about this in the past. I think as the dollar index rises, I think Bitcoin will drop, and we're starting to see that. So we could have possibly already bottomed here, but I would not be surprised to see one more touchdown here. If it breaks below that, that changes everything. All right, looking at gold, we still have this target down here of 1736 if it already hasn't bottomed here. And that's looking at this as an ABC correction with the Fibonacci extension on here. That's a 1-to-1 extension. Let's take a look at where we're at now. So this is the triangle we had been watching. We did break through. We had a little bull trap popping back above it and continuing down now. Question is, will we get down to my targets here? First one being around 17,000, second one being around 16,100, somewhere in that range, and I will show you how I got those. First, let's take a look at where we're at now. If we take a look at this high here and the high we're making here, we're making higher highs in the RSI, lower highs in the price action, which is hidden bearish divergence. So keep that in mind if you are playing these charts. Like I said, this is prime time to be trading. I'll explain where I trade later, but let's take a look at where we're at. Let's take a look at these measure moves and how I've gotten them. So the first one, you just take the widest point of the triangle where it broke down, and that gets us our first target of 16,999, 17,000, however you want to look at it. And over here, as you can see, this where we broke out over here, if we take a measurement from that breakout to the top, that is a bull flag, or a flagpole if this was a bull flag. But if we take that down here, it's possible that we could get the measured move that takes us all the way down to the 16,000 range. Again, that doesn't have to happen. Also, what I want to look at here is a retest of this area being a possibility. If that happens, you know, we could see as high as, whoops, that is not what I wanted to put on there. Let me get that off of there and put a price target. So we could see as high as the 19,000, 19,100 as a retest of the bottom of this triangle. So be aware of that. It's not to say it has to happen, but it could. If we break back above this bottom trend line, that could change everything and we could see another leg up. But as of right now, I still believe we get down to these targets. Even if we get up to this range and get rejected. So that's what I'm looking at here. Let's look at Prime XBT. This is by far my favorite exchange. They also have a co-vesting in here where you can copy trade people. Just be aware, all that's risky, just like trading. But you can trade Bitcoin, EOS, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, Forex, gold, silver, oil, Dow Jones, S&P, all on this exchange and plenty more. and using leverage. If you're not familiar with how to use leverage, I leave a tutorial up top to explain PrimeXBT's leverage, and you can use my promo code Savy50. Will get you 50% on top of whatever you deposit up to 1 Bitcoin as a bonus to use towards your margin. Savy25 will get you 25% off your fees. Definitely check it out if you are interested. And let's look at the 1 hour here. So taking a different look at the 1 hour, we had this rising channel that we broke out of here. And we could be coming back down to test it, and that would line up with that $17,000 range. And this is the same target as I showed you earlier. Same thing here. We're also looking at this as a possible rising wedge. A measured move of the break of that gets us all the way down to 15,000, which could retest this trend line here. If this trend line breaks, we will be seeing much lower lows, in my opinion. And like I said, stick around because we're going to take a look at the macro chart also. Just wanted to take a look at this stuff. There's another possibility we could be looking at here. If we don't get down to retest the top of this, we could move this right over here and still be making a longer rising wedge. Could see, this is just a possibility. This is not what I think is happening, but we could see something like this. Back up here, then down, and then have our drop. So be aware of that. Let's go into the 4 hours. So the 4 hour, here's that rising channel that we broke out of. We did measure this and have a measured move of possibly 20,800, which is still possible unless we break down below this $17,000 range. We break below that, and I think that is far from happening. So let's look at this rising channel we have here, or rising wedge, to where we did. Let me zoom in here so you can see it, and then we'll take a look at our retracement levels. But as you can see, this trend line on the bottom, we wicked through it. Once we do that, in my opinion, it's most likely going to continue. Our RSI keeps resetting, going up with the price not moving much. Also, if you look here, this is very bearish. If we zoom in and look at the 55 EMA, which is the yellow, and then we have the 21, the 13, and the 8 have all crossed over. We've opened a candle and closed a candle below that. That's bearish, guys. And you can check out my tutorials on the EMAs, which I just explained, but I do have some tutorials. I'll leave those up top. Check them out also. But like I said, once we pierce this, pretty much I believe we're going to continue down, and taking the measured move of that where we broke, that gets us down to around 13,100, right in that range. Now, could that be the bottom? Possibly. But like I said, stick around. We're going to take a look at the macro, and I'll show you what I'm seeing. But if we take from the swing low, from the 2018 swing low of 3,100, to the swing high up here, where if we did top out, which I believe is a great possibility we have, first level of retracement would be the 0.236 at 16,000, and then we have 13.5 at 0.382, and then we have the 0.5 at 11.5, then we have the 9,200, which is the golden pocket zone. If we do reach down there, that could be the bottom, or at least get a heck of a bounce. But if that does break, 0.786 is 67.14. We will be keeping an eye on this and keeping track of it. Also, a good way to help support the channel, if you want to, check out my wife's webpage, inkyorimage.com. There's a link down below with a bunch of other affiliate links in the description that really help the channel out. But she has a lot of cool stuff on here, especially for personalized Christmas gifts or whatever. It's quality stuff, guys. Check it out. She does pictures on glass, ornaments, aluminum, slate, and then you got your Bitcoin section here with all your t-shirts, coffee mugs, and whatnot for Bitcoin. All right, let's take a look at the daily. So the daily, we have been battling with this 18.8 forever. If we stay below this, I do believe definitely the top is in. We'll see what happens here, but if we do break back above this level, which is around 19,000, and we open and close at least a daily above that, we could be looking up to this 22 to 22.5 right in that area. If that trend line breaks, could go to 25. That's a bullish case. Bearish case, like I said, should go down to at least 16, and then we'll see what happens there. I would expect at least a bounce. Guys, it doesn't mean you're going to see one red candle straight down. We're going to have bounces. You can see how this works. And again, we're going to take a look at that here in a few too. But we did have higher highs in the price action here, lower highs in the RSI, bearish divergence, which is playing out. Let's go to the weekly. So this is something we've watched for quite some time. We have two bullish targets for the major bullish case scenario for all you bulls out there. 28.1 being the first one, and break of this trend line, 30,300 being the second. Now let's look at the RSI. We've been talking about this symmetrical triangle here, which we broke out of, got really bullish, came up, got rejected here. And if we look at this as a rising wedge, looks like we're going to most likely come down and test this on the weekly. Could be next week, could be 2 weeks, could be 3 weeks from now, who knows. But I do expect us to at least come retest this now. A close below this and a break of this wedge. Been talking about it forever. I think this will be a great buying opportunity if we make it back down to this level. Again, we could bounce the weekly here and just continue up from there. But I'm still eyeballing this lower level on the weekly RSI. All right, so let's take a look at this. This is the 2-day. And this is the MACD custom, and if you guys want to find it, go up in your indicators, hit the public library. It's the second one down, MACD custom indicator by Chris Moody. It's a great indicator, and as you can see, it called the top over here on the 2-day, called the top over here on the 2-day, and it is calling a top here. Now, what we could be looking at, you can see how the tops work. And I've explained this before, especially with all the institutional money and them telling you that, you know, they're buying all kinds and they're keeping everybody super bullish. Let me zoom in here just real quick, and then we'll look at a couple more things on the chart. But as you can see, we could just get another top just like we got here, just like we got there. And what happens, in my theory, is, you know, the institutions bought down here. They're not buying up here, and if they are, they're not very smart. So anyways, what happens? They start selling off. They can't sell it all off because then that would drop the price too fast. So they sell a little bit, and then people get fearful, sells. And this isn't exact, but this could be around where we get a bounce around that 16. And then all of a sudden, everybody gets bullish again. We're going up, and they get to sell a little more into the FOMO. And again, into the FOMO. Until eventually people quit buying as much and start getting fearful, and then, you know, the big drop. That's how I'm looking at it, and let's look at it on the time frame. So let's look at this peak here, our all-time high to this bull run peak here was 556 days, and then we go from this peak to this peak was 523 days. There is a 550 cycle they talk about in many markets, and it holds true in the markets, all the markets. Now, this doesn't mean that by looking at this, the next 550 days or whatnot, that would put the next all-time high at around, or the next peak at around 2022. And I've talked about this also. If we measure the lows, this one here was 457 days. That was from the 2017 to 2018. And then we have the 2018 to the 2019. And that one was about 454 days. And if we did the same thing again, we'd be looking around June next year for our bottom. And that is where I'm looking to buy back my HODL. Been talking about it forever. But that's what I'm looking at. Still going to be looking at it that way. But like I said, this has called the tops, and the 2-day has flashed here as a sell signal. We still have about 10 hours in it, so if it holds down here, it will stay red. The 3-day has yet to turn all the way over, but if we do get a red dot here in the next week on the 3-day, it's looking ugly. And if you take a look at what's going on right here, get in here, you can see what happens after every big run we have. We get a red run right after it, red run right after it, And right now it does look like we will be getting our red here. And I do believe, like I said, this could take till June. It may end before then, but this isn't going to be one straight candle down, guys. It doesn't have to go that way. It could be drawn out for a long time, but I still believe it's real possible that we've already topped here. All right, one more look at it. Let's look at the NVT. So we've been watching this also, and this is on the daily. As you can see, we have crossed below the signal line again. We have not turned blue yet, but that could be coming pretty soon. Let's look at the 2-day. We look at the 2-day, same thing. We crossed below the signal line. Let's look at the 3-day. We are crossing below the signal line on the 3-day here. If we close this down here in another day, we're most likely going to continue down. Let's look at the weekly. And we talked about this. I showed you this yesterday. We could be looking at a possible head and shoulders. This being the left shoulder, head, right shoulder on the weekly, and then down. We could get a bounce off this signal line before continuing down. But if we drop below it, most likely we'll come up, retest it, and continue down to them lower lows that I've been talking about. So obviously, there's no guarantee, guys. Be careful if you are trading. But like I said, you can use my promo codes for Prime XBT. And also, I'll leave some of those tutorial videos right here on the side of me. So check them out if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Tick that notification bell to get you notified every time I post a video. Smash the like button and leave your comments down below. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for all the support you guys have been giving me. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks, and I'll see you tomorrow.